Hey guys, it's Will. So BigBear.AI has been making some waves in the AI boom of 2025, but is this stock worth betting on, or is it just another hype play? We're going to go into it. We're going to dive into the financials, some of the recent moves, and future potential. Plus, the past week I've had an early bird list running in the first link below, and later today I'm finally releasing my virtual stock trading masterclass to my email list. But here's the deal, if this video gets 200 likes, I'll drop it for free right here on YouTube. So smash that like button. Let's get into it. So we're here checking out BBAI as the ticker symbol. We've been covering this stock since November. And back here in November, it was just around a dollar. It was under $2 a share. We saw it really start to trend up. We've seen this consistent pattern develop. And then it really started to rocket up after it broke above this rising resistance. So to kind of play this trend quite simply, we see that they had this trend like this, and they had a resistance up here. The resistance more or less was like this, and then they broke out and then started this new trend. Now there's a lot of lines here, so let me kind of break this down because I don't want you to be confused. Again, here's that rising support down here. And then here's this kind of resistance that we have up here, which we could probably bring down a little bit like that. And a lot of times when a stock gets rejected by a resistance, if it's going to sell back down, it's going to sell back down to the previous resistance that it had. So for example, it pushed up to this resistance, sold back down, and bounced more or less right on this previous resistance. Then it shot back up to $10.50. So again, we went from under $1 a share up to $10.50. And then we see it sell back down here to about $9 a share now. And it didn't hold that previous resistance quite perfectly, but you can see it did sell off a little bit. This looks like a hyper bullish indication. If we just kind of get rid of this and we look at the overall trend, potentially could see it push back up, and this is a support that it's at. The reason I would say have some caution here, that would be about a 20 to 25% increase. The reason I say have some caution is because we do see quite the increase. If we zoom out here, that is quite the increase. And of course, I'm happy as a long-term investor to see this, but as a short-term investor, you got to play it carefully, okay? Because there's going to be volatility. We see swings that are in the 10 to 20%. And so ideally, we'll be looking for something in that market open dip to be able to take advantage of it. If you guys want to be there at market open, Stockmate, that second link below. We go trading there every single day at market open. So BigBear.AI, I was at their kind of looking at their website. We'll take a look at three things. This overall market of government contracts is growing tremendously. And one of the things that people don't really realize is that BigBear.AI is positioned very well for 2025 for numerous reasons. They are primarily they're driven by the government's contracts, and the AI demand in government is growing very fast. And so they have some strategic positioning. Their government and defense contracts, you can see that they got government and defense. So that's kind of their AI predictive analysis. So you can see them at airports, travel, and transportation. If you go to Denver International Airport or Heathrow, they scan your face. They're processing millions of profiles and data points to identify threats and things like that. So they got some large language model AI that's having this decision intelligence essentially with deep ties to the US government. So not just are we talking travel and transportation, we're also talking in the government and defense, the actual DoD, so US Department of Defense. That includes intelligence agencies. That's going to include some contracts that are going to provide some stable and recurring revenue. See the Pentagon there. And part of that is, if there's a downturn, let's say that there's any changes in economic slowdowns or anything like that, they're well positioned with some great contracts. Now it comes down to, I look at the Department of Defense, we look at their Army contracts, but they're in national security as well. So when we get into security, and we're looking here, and you see the Pentagon, and you could see operational decision intelligence. We're talking about battlefield analytics. We're talking about threat assessments and autonomous military solutions. So this comes down to U.S. military and NATO allies as they're going to be ramping up AI spending. It's going to inevitably happen. You could see the AI-powered analytics and deep cybersecurity and cyberspace operations expertise. We bring high-caliber insights to help you defend our nation's networks, critical infrastructure, and supply chains. So we're in this AI boom. It's not just us. There are going to be rising geopolitical tensions. We already see it with DeepSeek and China. We already see it with Russia. Cyber warfare is going to be there, and it's going to fuel a lot of demand for these AI-powered defense technologies. And that's where BigBear.AI essentially is specializing. They're similar to Palantir. They're partnered with Palantir in certain instances. And then they have this data at scale, ingest data at scale. It's called Observe. It's an open source intelligence platform. Our conflation algorithms enable decision makers to understand if and when an event is unfolding based on a variety of sources and their trustworthiness. And so we have it over here in our watch list of AI and large language models. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's just kind of like a scanner at the airport that scans your face and manages some profiles. But the deeper we go over the past few months, the more we find that they're not just even in transportation, not just in Department of Defense, they're also expanding into healthcare and sciences. They got financial analytics, but they're getting into, here you can see hospital, so patient flow. There's going to be diagnostic testing. There's going to be millions of people in hospitals that need to be matched based on their specific situation. Everybody's got different things they're dealing with. They're going to have to be matched with the correct doctor. And a human doing that is quite tough. But an AI that's processing millions of different data points and can automatically schedule the right doctors for the right patients or what have you, or the right AI-powered robots with the right patients, then that's the type of technology that you need. So I like it. I like what they're doing. The partnerships that they have. They got possible partnerships with some AI chip makers. So that's one thing. You got NVIDIA, AMD, or Intel. We'll see how that goes because they do have a lot of, they have to provide the hardware and things like that. And then they also have a partnership with Palantir as well. You can look at their partners. If you head over here, you can kind of see where their partners are. They got United Kingdom. This is where they distribute to. Germany, Brazil, Mexico. So they're fairly worldwide. And you can look at some of their other contracts. They're constantly having new contracts. There's an $8.5 million extension on U.S. Army. And so why is that important? Well, when we're looking at this market, it's a growing market. And the reality is, if you want to invest in and be someone that is able to make money in the markets, I would say that a lot of times it's not going to be based on so much your skill. Yes, your skill is important, but it's not going to be based on your skill, where you're coming from, the type of money that you have. Those things play a role, but a lot of it's going to be based on your markets and what information do you have that's going to put you in the right markets to succeed. And this is a market that's in AI. It's growing. You can see their revenue is up 3.5% year over year. There in that quarter, it was down in that quarter, it was up in that quarter. Last quarter, it was up 22%. Revenue, 41 million. Net income still a little bit negative, but things starting to show. They're starting to build this AI-focused track record, and they're starting to get some compliance and clearance with almost every government agency. And that's where a lot of power starts to kick in. And that's where you're going to see them. There's going to be a spending surge, right? From the Pentagon, from the, definitely with the Pentagon, they allocated $1.8 billion for AI research. That number, that was 2023, but that number is expected to grow significantly in 2025. And so we see them pull back here. We're going to see how this reacts at market open tomorrow. I'm imagining that possibly it holds this level and continues this bullish trend. It's possible we see them sell down a little bit more before continuing up, just because they are quite oversold. Even if it's sold down to here, kind of in this $8 range, before pushing well above that $10 range, I think that's possible. I think that this company has a lot of potential to do that. Hyper bullish case would be straight from market open. We see it surge it's interesting to look at in that regard as well. But I think long term looks good. The near term volatility is something we love to play. If you guys would like to be there at market open, make sure to check the second link in the description to join Stockmate and surround yourself with other traders and investors. Aside from that, if you guys want to be there, let's get this video to 200 likes, and I'll make sure that you get access publicly to see our virtual stock trading masterclass later today when it drops. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. If I earned your thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.